When you think about this a bit more broadly with regards to what we've just heard from Jerome Powell, is the Fed getting it right here? Because obviously they've suggested multiple times that there's got to be a fiscal response as well. Congress has got to get a move on.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been a fiscal response, and let's not forget that fiscal response, as well as the monetary response, happened very quickly. If you think back to the GFC, I mean, it took months to get the equivalent responses out. But it was also clear from relatively early on that more was needed on the fiscal side. And I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. So there's now I think, as your correspondent earlier alluded to, there seems to be a lot of jockeying for political position and negotiation, but nobody's disagreeing that this needs to be done. So I'm sure it's going to get there, and I'm sure it's going to be an appropriately sized package. Market's obviously going to be anxious until it can see it, but it's probably going to get there.
You're maintaining a strategically pro-risk stance. What are you holding then in the markets?
Yeah, so look, I think at this point in time, you want to be very underweight treasuries and probably gold, because I think they've lost their kind of shock absorber properties. They're not really going to protect you in the way that they normally do in a kind of a market wobble. On the other side of that equation, I think you've got to be overweight equities. I think the tactical case for equities is not as strong as it was a few months ago, when the equity risk premium was really quite elevated. It's now very modest, but it's still good enough that they need to have a place in your portfolio. And then I think credit looks good, particularly at the high yield end of the spectrum. The yields that you can get, say, for Asian credit with relatively low duration and therefore relatively low risk, are really very, very attractive in this very low interest rate, very low inflation environment. So I think those are the things that you have to be overweight, uncomfortable as it may feel.